This is NBK, nothing but Knicks. When send past the assist, you know that it's #1 show that breaks down the game. If you can't play defense, stay out my way. Dribble the ball, come down the lane. 5 seconds on the shot clock, who gon' win us the game? You wanna hear Nick updates and trade rumors? Postgame reviews, this the place you tune in. Tell a friend just to keep the ball moving. Like the page if you feeling the movement. Every game we coming to win. Give us a sub like a player that came off the bench. This is NBK, nothing but Knicks.
Knicks family, what is going on? It's your boy Uncle Fulio, and the Knicks have finally won, ladies and gentlemen, snapping a 2-game losing streak with a great victory over the Milwaukee Bucks on the road. The Knicks, that's win takes the Knicks to 6-3 on the season. We beat the NBA champs, ladies and gentlemen, with a tough victory. I'm here with Queen Steph, Tony Crow, and Nate as we're going to break down this game and talk about some of the things we liked and what we've seen from this team tonight. Here we are filling in for Sim again, who's currently on vacation, sipping a pina colada. But we're going to give it to you, ladies and gentlemen, and let you know how we feel. So, Steph, how you feeling?
I'm feeling really, really good. I mean, I predicted a win, and we won. We did not get off to a good start, as everyone saw. But I like what Tibbs did in that second half. He basically went with last year's team. 2 people from the starting lineup, RJ and Randle, and the rest was from the bench. Rose, Quickly, and Noel. And then when he took Quickly out, he put Burke in, right? And so, like you said, Josh, I agree. I don't think we need to make any drastic changes. I think we can let Kemba start, let Fournier start, or whoever. And if they're not playing good defense, bring in those that are. And that team, when they got together, played extremely well and kept us in the game. And we'll see how it goes.
No doubt about it. Tibbs definitely went with last year's team, last year's guys, and that spurred that comeback right there in the second half. So great adjustment by Tibbs to make, recognizing that maybe in today's game just wasn't it for Kemba and Fournier and going with last year's lineup. Tony, what's going on with you, my man?
Peace, guys. Peace. Yo, Black, it's time. Shout out to the chat. I'm gonna sleep good tonight. I gotta get up at 6 a.m. and Knicks gotta win. So I want to talk about it and get a good night's sleep. But I'm excited.
There you go. Yeah, definitely excited. Definitely always good to get back on track. Nate, what's going on with you, my man?
How's it going, guys? Yeah, I mean, a great win for the Knicks on the road. Anytime that you can get a good win with a quality team on the road is always a plus. I don't know what Tibbs said to them at halftime, but I'm pretty sure it started with play some defense, and you're going to win this game. And the more I watch this team play, this team is going to have to play consistent defense to win these kind of games. Period. It's not going to be their offense. I think their offense will do enough to win, but it's the defense that's going to come through in the clutch. And this team is built on defense, and it will always be built on defense as long as Tibbs is the head coach. And I think that's going to be the calling card for us. Even though we did get a lot of offensive pieces, it's going to be the defense at the end of the day. If the defense isn't there, we're not going to win the game. I'm going to just call it like that.
Okay. All right. Definitely. But before we get to the stats in the game, I'm going to talk about a couple things. First and foremost, nervous. Go ahead, Tom.
Oh no, go ahead. I think you was leading to. Is it gonna be like an apology, or you just gonna give the?
Well, you gotta let me get there. First things first, I want to talk about Nerlens Noel. I think Nerlens Noel was phenomenal today defensively. Definitely stopping Milwaukee from getting in the paint, coming up high to hedge the pick and rolls. He did a phenomenal job of defense on Giannis Antetokounmpo, and yes, he definitely can help this team defensively. As long as we can prevent those guys from getting in the paint. Or any type of guard or wing to get inside the paint, I think Nerlens Noel can definitely help us defend against the pick and roll. So he did a phenomenal job today. Any comments you guys want to make on that? I'll start with Steph.
Yeah, I mean, like we've talked about, Josh and Tony. um, I thought that Noel coming back would be a positive for us. And tonight he was all over the place. He was all over the place in terms of his movement, in terms of his hands, getting key rebounds, getting second shots for us, batting it out, keeping the ball alive. And we may have something, in terms of using Noel for those quicker, more mobile centers and maybe Mitch. I mean, both will play, but Mitch more for those, big, tough, bruising centers. But he was phenomenal tonight. And he's quick and his reaction time is really quick. So, having both him and Mitch back there is going to be good for us.
Still can't catch the ball though. I mean, he can't catch.
No, we can't.
Anything.
He got that alley oop though over Giannis.
Good
Amazing,
call.
he caught that. Amazing. He couldn't catch the 3-pointer they was trying to take. I think he was thinking about it, like, oh man, I want to take that 3, and he dropped it out of bounds.
Yeah. He was waiting for that shot.
Tony, go ahead, Tony. I know you got something to say about Nerlens.
I mean, he definitely looked like he was worth a little bit, like 10 million or a little bit more than 10 million a year tonight. I tell you that. That's what we get from him. I mean, we seen the chemistry last year. We seen what he did for. I always said that alone made him worth bringing back, because our season kind of should have been over. If we were making the decisions, or if we were just going by what we thought when Mitch went out, we thought the season was over, and he held it down for us. And tonight he played inspired. I still think he's fighting for that starting job. You know what I mean? Like I think he wanted it coming into the year, and he didn't get the opportunity being hurt. So I think he's gonna be. We're gonna see an A1 game, especially once all of his conditioning is up to par. But yeah, he played phenomenal. I agree with you guys. The second unit, I mean, last year's team was the focal point of this win tonight. Like everybody, the chemistry, the defense, they know what to expect from Tibbs. They know what he wants. I think we keep that starting lineup, like you said, and just let these guys organically fall in line. They're gonna learn the same way people learned last year. You know what I mean? Like, look at Quickly's defense this year compared to last year. Like, he focused on that because he knows that's gonna keep him on the court. You know what I mean? Even if his shot isn't falling. So I have faith in both Kemba and I mean he's gonna be at a disadvantage because of his height more than anything else. I think he's with the team defense, the team aspect, he can figure it out. He doesn't have to be locked down. I don't think Alfred was locked down. I think one of his advantages though was his height. But again, these guys are gonna be all right. I like tonight's win though.
All right. Let me get to Ron. We're gonna switch topics, but you feel free to comment on the Nerlens Noel thing, if you want. Emmanuel Quickley, tell me how you feel about Emmanuel Quickley. Do you think this is the game that Emmanuel Quickley finally gets things turned around? I'll come to Ron and then we'll get to the game stats.
I mean, he had a okay game. I'm not going to say that I think he turned it around as of yet. I think he played, much better out there on the court. He was definitely a lot more energetic. It looked like he was confident about his game. He was moving right. He was moving like the Quickley we're used to seeing. I'm going to say that maybe it helps with his confidence. That's pretty much it, because it looks like his shot, he's still trying to figure it out. It's not all the way back yet. So I'm going to say that this is more of a nice confidence booster for him. And the fact that the team rallied together and they all chipped in to come back from that big deficit and pull the game out in convincing fashion, I think it's more of a confidence builder for him.
What about him on defense? So that's what I was really talking about. I wasn't even talking about the shot because to me, I think the shot's gonna fall. But today, what we've seen from Quickley on defense was really good. That's that improvement.
The best we've seen.
The
Yeah,
best
and
that we've seen from Quickly.
right. That's okay. That's what you're talking about. Yeah, and you know what? The funny thing about Quickly on defense is it's kind of been building a little bit. But I think
Right.
so many people are so focused on his offense
Right.
that
I've
they're
seen
not
it.
looking at his defensive effort.
Right.
I brought
Right.
was it 3 or 4 games ago? It was one of these games. I brought up his defensive effort because he had a pretty good game on defense. Nobody was trying to hear that. They
Right.
was like, yo, he's bricking out there. He's not hustling. He's not. I'm like, he's been playing better on defense. He's trying. And
Back to summer league, actually.
yeah. And the other thing I pointed to in that game that I was talking about, if you looked at the plus and minuses, Quickly played a good amount of minutes in that game, and his plus and minus was even. Actually, he was a +1. So I'm like, obviously, he's not hurting them on defense. So
Right.
he must be doing something right. And tonight, tonight was a game. This is, one of those. I guess you take a quick victory and say, look, bottle this, and we'll carry this victory into the next one. Like keep pushing along and keep taking it, because everybody stepped up tonight after that first quarter. Going into the second, which was really embarrassing, they turned it around. So I'm proud of what I saw out there from him and the rest of the group.
Right.
All right. Nate, you haven't been the biggest Emmanuel Quickly optimist. So how do you feel about Emmanuel Quickly's game tonight? Same question to you. Do you feel like this is a game where Emmanuel Quickly has turned things around, where he's turned the corner? Do you feel a little bit more optimistic about his play?
I mean, his play was impressive tonight because he kind of picked his shots. He didn't just jack stuff up. He tried to get more easier baskets to kind of get him in a rhythm. And also, too, I was impressed with his defense. He kept his defender in front of him. His defense will be something that we'll have to watch going forward, because I definitely think with 2 older point guards, if you have a defensive-minded young point guard, that's going to help, and that's going to get him more minutes with Tibbs. As far as his shot, like I said, he stayed more in the paint. I was happy to see that. I'd much rather see a 15-footer than a 35-footer. I think that's more impactful from him. And then, getting in the lanes and making steals. So, yeah, he had a good game tonight. Let's see if it catapults into getting out of that shooting slump, because, we are going to need his points on that bench.
Yeah, no question about that. Now, we're going to take a look right now at the team comparison from today. So this team comparison comes directly from NBA.com. So, obviously, the New York Knicks win this basketball game 113-98. Tough road victory. We out-rebounded the Milwaukee Bucks 71-43. Huge, big differential in rebounding. That tells you that this team is hustling, and they got after it today. So the effort was just fully there today from the New York Knicks. We trailed in assists 16-19. Steals 11-4, so we were able to force some turnovers against the Milwaukee Bucks. Blocks was about even 4-5. Turned the ball over 13 times today. 13 turnovers today. Still a little bit, too much turnovers. I guess we'll clean that up, but that's been a little bit better than what we've been doing in the past couple games. We didn't shoot the ball that well today. 42.7% from the field, 25% from 3. I think our numbers were 10 for 40 from the 3-point line today. So we still shot the 3 ball, 40 times today. Only knocked down 10 of them. But I felt like the Knicks, they got in the paint a little bit more. And I'm going to get those stats at the bottom here in a second. Leading us to today was Julius Randle with 32 points. Julius Randle had a phenomenal game today. Absolute phenomenal game. He was all over the floor. He outplayed Giannis Antetokounmpo. So for everyone out there saying that, Julius Randle needs to be traded and, all this stuff, he robbed us and all that, take that for data. All right. Giannis Antetokounmpo led the Bucks in scoring with 25 points. Rebounds, Nerlens Noel had 13 rebounds today.
Wow.
Phenomenal game from Nerlens Noel today. I think Julius Randle had about 11 or 12 or something like that. So the Knicks absolutely got on the board today. A big part of that 71 rebounds from the team overall. Leading the Bucks in rebounding was Bobby Portis with 8 assists. Julius Randle had 4. Giannis Antetokounmpo had 4. And as far as blocks, Julius Randle and Bobby Portis were tied with 2 apiece as far as blocks are concerned. But the stats that I really want to talk about are these 3 down here, right? The Knicks outscored the Milwaukee Bucks in the paint 54-28, ladies and gentlemen, 54-28. Second chance points 20-5, and fast break points 13-10. This was a game of effort, ladies and gentlemen. Absolute effort. So I'll start with you, Queen. Tell me how you feel
Yeah.
about these numbers, and just by looking at that, tell me how you your absolute
Yeah.
how you feel
Yeah.
about it.
Yeah. Can you bring up the bottom again? The bottom
Absolutely.
three circles. Yeah, I mean that's impressive. Derrick Rose pushed the pace. So that was really good for us. He pushed the pace. He put a lot of pressure on Milwaukee's defense. They was backpedaling. They didn't get an opportunity to set up a lot of times. He either took it to the basket or dribbled in, dribbled out, passed it to someone really quick. Um, those second chance points, a lot of it was Randall. He was down there as well, battling underneath the boards, trying to get us second rebounds, but Noel as well. If he didn't get them, he was batting them back out, so that the guards and the forwards can get them. That was great. Fast break points, just a little a little edge there. But points in the paint, second chance points, a lot of that had to do with Rose and Noel. They were both phenomenal. Rose started it, basically, and basically stayed solid for the rest of the game.
No question about that. No question about that. We got a super chat from Flip Mode. Thank you for the super chat. He said, "What a turn of events! Our dribble penetration from RJ and Rose really helped us tonight. Absolutely, we definitely were getting that paint a little bit more whenever the three ball wasn't there. The Knicks felt like they made a little bit of a concerted effort to penetrate just a little bit more. That definitely kept us in the game. Thank you for the super chat, Flip Mode. All right, Tone, tell me what you think about these numbers. How do you feel about that?
I mean, I agree with you. It was a effort win. Like it was effort with all the guys, all the guys that we highlighting. Um, and even defense. That's the 90% of that is effort as well. So that's again why I'm not losing hope. But one thing I do want to highlight is, and again, this is all reminiscent of last year's team, which is great to see. Um, but this is the first game this year where we didn't shoot the ball well, and we we still got a good win. You know what I mean? A good quality
Right.
win. It
Right,
wasn't like uh uh because most of them we lost. The games we lost, we didn't shoot the ball well
Right.
from three, mostly around 30 something percent. So to be 25%, 10 for 40, you know what I mean? That shows a lot of growth for this team, because that's one thing I was worried about is, are we going to be live by the three, die by the three? And tonight we shot them. We didn't make them, but we got the win. So I did want to highlight that, because I think that's big for us.
absolutely, absolutely. I totally agree with that. We definitely going to need our defense to step up because like everyone's been saying around the NBA, and I think teams know that now. If you can stop the Knicks from shooting threes, you pretty much can beat them because defensively the Knicks are not the same team. But tonight, we put the effort out on the defensive side of the ball, and we still came away with a 15-point victory, 113-98. So 15-point victory tonight from the New York Knicks, largely based on what they did defensively. Nate, how do you feel about these numbers? Milwaukee. How do you feel about what the Knicks did to Milwaukee and the hustle stats, so to speak?
Well, I think they took advantage of a wounded Milwaukee team. I mean, they're out Middleton, they're out Brooke Lopez. So, they're still DiVincenzo. They still got some pieces they're trying to get back. And the Knicks took advantage of that. They really hustled them on the boards. They ran, they played great defense. Um, honestly, for me, the real factor of this win was Derrick Rose. And I was watching the game and it kind of hit me in the head. Where would this Knicks team be without Derrick Rose if we hadn't resigned him? I'm kind of curious what our record would be without Derrick Rose, because I feel like every game that we've played, he's had some kind of impact on this team, whether it's win or loss. He's still very consistent, and he shows up every night. He's the one guy that you can actually rely on every night on this team. And I just like, man, what a player he is. Like, I mean, he's looked like he's going to be sixth man of the year if he continues the way he's playing right now. But where would this team be if we didn't have Derrick Rose right now?
Yeah, totally agree with that. I definitely think Derrick Rose is a very important part of this team. But I do want to highlight something you said about Milwaukee being down, not having Brook Lopez and not having DiVincenzo. Listen, a win's a win. The Knicks came
Yeah.
into this game struggling. They lost 2 games in a row. The
And
Bucks,
was down 20. or
and then we were
19.
down 20. Exactly. And Milwaukee still couldn't close the deal. So I understand what you're talking about. Milwaukee, I think, lost 4 straight home games or whatever the case may be. But a win's a win. And, I understand that these guys are missing people, but, the Knicks showed hustle today. You know what I'm saying? I think that you can't really coach hustle. The Knicks definitely had that tonight. Ron, tell me how you feel about those numbers, those hustle numbers. And how do you think that, how does that make you feel about the team right now?
Well, hey, man, we talked about it in the pregame. They did exactly what I think we wanted them to do. The effort was there. They did the key principles that Steph highlighted. They did what I wanted them to do as far as pushing the pace, trying to find good shots, even when the shots weren't falling. I mean, the fact that they scored so many points in the paint as opposed to Milwaukee shows that they got good opportunities. They got good takes. And here's the big one. The rebounds, baby. Let's go, Knicks. This is what I wanted. 71 rebounds. I don't even think have they hit 71 rebounds as a team? Around that areas. I don't know.
Getting close.
This is a big number. It's a big number for them. So really good and a way to take advantage of your height advantage that you had against them. That's what you got to do. Whatever the other team's lacking, that's what you have to focus on. And the Knicks did a good job at that. Even after struggling so much and being almost blown out the game, they came back and they fought hard, which I thought was great. I will tell you that I am a little concerned about one thing, or should I say one person, and that's Mitchell Robinson. Mitchell Robinson. I'm very concerned about that. So, I mean, we could talk about it later or we can talk about it now, but either way, I want to get to that.
All right, and we're going to talk about Mitchell Robinson as we pull up the box score from the game today, right? So this is the box score for the New York Knicks. First and foremost, Julius Randle. I mean, after all the slander this guy was taking on Knicks Twitter and everything like that, Julius Randle comes back with a 32-point game, 12 rebounds, 4 assists, shot 50% from the field, went 3 from 9 from 3-point range. Julius Randle came out as a man on a mission today. He didn't really force it too much, but at the same time, he really didn't play conservative. It was kind of like right in the middle, and Julius Randle just took advantage of everyone that they were throwing at him. And not only that, he was out hustling the Bucks down on the boards and on the floor. He was just out hustling them. So kudos to Julius Randle. I think that this is the type of performance that we want to see from him every night, and this was an All-NBA performance tonight for sure. Next up, Nerlens Noel. He had 6 points, 13 rebounds, led the team in rebounding today, so good job from him. 3 steals, 1 block. We talk about the importance of having Nerlens Noel out there for his defense. Those numbers definitely show that right there. Obi Toppin, 6 points, 1 block, 2 rebounds. Got a nice alley-oop early in the game from Derrick Rose, but he didn't really play that much. Only almost 15 minutes today. But Obi Toppin definitely has to get better with that. Next 2 guys I'm going to talk about is Derrick Rose and RJ Barrett. Derrick Rose, 23 points, 4 assists, 8 rebounds for Derrick Rose today, ladies and gentlemen. 8 rebounds. You got to have those guards getting those rebounds. Group rebounding, team rebounding. That's what Tom Thibodeau was talking about early in the season. Shooting 55% from the field, 33.3% from 3, went 2 for 6. Derrick Rose had a phenomenal game, a monster game. And we're going to talk about that a little bit more as well. RJ Barrett, 20 points, another good game from RJ Barrett. He didn't shoot the ball as well as he has been shooting in the past couple games, but RJ Barrett still put up a nice 20-point game. I thought he was getting beat on defense a little bit. He let Grayson Allen and Dante DiVincenzo kind of shoot the lights out a little bit. So defensively, this wasn't
had the chase down
DiVincenzo's
block
out.
though.
Yeah, I mean not DiVincenzo.
Nawaba or no?
Nora.
Yeah, and Nora. That was also on Evan Fournier as well. We're going to talk about that a little bit more. RJ Barrett and Evan Fournier didn't have the best defensive game today, but RJ Barrett still was able to put 20 points up, which I predicted at the beginning of the game. And then let's talk about Mitchell Robinson. 4 points from Mitchell Robinson. He only had 6 rebounds today, 2 steals. Definitely got to get more production from Mitchell Robinson. I really didn't see this wasn't his best game. But Mitchell Robinson, we gonna talk about that a little bit. Ron, let's talk about that Mitchell Robinson. I'm gonna hear what you have to say about him.
How many minutes he played?
21.
21 minutes.
How many fouls do you have?
He wasn't in foul trouble.
Oh, sorry.
He had what was
One.
that?
One foul.
He wasn't in foul trouble. No, he was in Tibbs trouble. So I don't know what to say about Mitchell Robinson, man. I think this guy, his effort and aggressiveness, it just doesn't seem to be there right now. It seems to be lacking. Ever since he had that great game against Embiid, I have not seen him play that way since that game. It's kind of slowly been a decline. In this game, he played 21 minutes and finished with 6 rebounds, right? I saw him get boxed out by Grayson Allen. Like, what's happening here? Like, I don't understand exactly what's happening with his effort. I don't know what's going on with his footwork, his positioning. He seems out of place. There was 2 times. Grayson Allen was like the most egregious, but there was another time where Thanasis was boxing him out, and he was trying to like put his hands over Thanasis to get the rebound. Like, instead of using that extra 30 pounds of weight he's got to move him out of the area or do something and go around him, no, he's trying to just reach up. Like, I don't know. As far as technique goes, I don't know what he was doing there. I'm really concerned about him. We already know he's not an offensive threat whatsoever. He can't get it on his own. He needs help. He's a poor free throw shooter. So if you're not going out there and you're not giving us rebounds, you're not giving a solid effort, you're not affecting the game on the defensive end. He had no blocks in his 21 minutes. Like, what's going on here? And this is definitely not helping his case for staying with his team and getting the bag. So I don't know, man. I was really disappointed in this game because I thought he was easily going to have a double-double with the height difference and all those advantages, and it didn't matter at all for Mitch. So I was really disappointed.
All right, and I personally, I'm gonna get right to you, Quinn, but I personally attributed Mitch's, I don't want to say struggles, defensively or what have you. I attributed that to him being able to guard, 5 so he could be able to step back and knock that 3-point shot down. The Bucks really didn't have that tonight. No, there was no Brook Lopez tonight. So, Queen, go ahead and tell me how you feel about Mitchell Robinson. Do you agree with Ron? Do you think it's something more than that? Do you think he's still trying to find his wind with his conditioning? What do you think it is?
I think that's what it is. I mean, I agree. I mean, this is something that I've brought up a time or two as well, that he doesn't look the same, but I'm chalking it up to conditioning, only playing 37 games last year, putting on a little extra weight, probably having to get used to playing at this new weight. He did look pretty good against Embiid, but his rebounding is not what we expect. His twitch, that quick jump is not there. Even on the blocks, being able to, go after a block multiple times with multiple, quick jumps, that's not there. As well, he does alter shots. His positioning is okay, but I'm just chalking it up to him needing to round into shape. But I noticed that from early on in the season that he just didn't look the same. But I think as the season, goes on, he'll get better.
Tony, how you feel about Mitchell Robinson today?
Today, I mean, he wasn't very effective, but I don't think that's the norm. And I'm still high on Mitch, man. I know he's not a finished product, so
Right.
the fact that he's as good as he is at what he does great, I got all the faith in the world. It takes centers a while to really figure out the game, and the easiest way for that to happen, or maybe the quickest way for that to happen, is really being on the same team. You know what I mean? Like moving to another team probably won't help him as much as sticking around and figuring it out. So yeah, I'm high on Mitch.
Gotcha. And Nate, okay, go ahead, Queen.
Honestly, for me with Mitch, I think he's just still inconsistent. I think, he's a young guy. He's still kind of learning the game. And obviously the injuries haven't helped him with his consistency because he hasn't been on the court. For me, I think it's more mental with him. I think that he's maybe a little scared of going too high for a rebound or going too all out because let's be honest, he's kind of clumsy and he's turned his ankle sometimes without even nobody around and he's landed awkwardly. And I think it's kind of mental, when somebody tears an ACL and they worry about getting hit again or getting bent down, bent in a different way. They it's all in their head. And I think with Mitch, that's kind of where it is right now. He's a little paranoid maybe of I don't want to go crazy all out, throw my body out there and then land awkwardly and then who knows what could happen. So I think he's got to shake that off. But I think he's just being a little bit more conservative with his body, which is fine by me. I mean, if we could still get the dunks and the putbacks and the blocks, I'm happy with that. He doesn't have to be that freak athlete that we saw his rookie year, obviously, because we don't want to sustain some leg injury that's going to take him out. So,
Gotcha. Okay. So the next two players that I want to talk about as I pull this back in here, I want to talk about. We already talked about Emmanuel quickly already, but I'm going to talk about these two guys, Kemba Walker and Evan Fournier. So Kemba Walker today had 5 points, turned the ball over twice. Only got 1 assist today. Only played 15 minutes. Missed a lot of time towards the end of the game. Tibbs definitely pulled him out early. We're going to talk about that. And Evan Fournier had 7 points, no assists, only 1 rebound, I believe, or 2 rebounds, or what have you. Only played 24 minutes today. Shot the ball 28% from the field, 16% from 3. So we're going to talk about those 2 players. But let me get to Milwaukee's box score. And obviously, Giannis Antetokounmpo led the team with 25 points. He had 3 turnovers. He had 4 assists, 7 rebounds for Giannis Antetokounmpo. Shot the ball 41% from the field, 28% from 3. But we did notice how Giannis is more comfortable with that 3-point shot. And they were saying it during the ESPN broadcast. If Giannis can be more comfortable with that 3-point shot, it is over for the NBA. It is absolutely over for the NBA. Second in scoring for the Milwaukee Bucks, you had Grayson Allen putting up 22 points today, as I spoke about. He had 5 rebounds, 2 assists, shot the ball. He went 6 for 9 from 3-point range and 8 for 12 from the field. So Grayson Allen definitely was lighting us up from behind the arc early. That's RJ Barrett's man and Evan Fournier's man. So we definitely got to get better with that. We didn't really have any wing stoppers on the perimeter today. We played good team defense to be able to pull this game out. Also, Jordan Nwora, 13 points. He had 3 rebounds, 1 assist, shot the ball 38% from the field and about 38% from 3-point range as well. And I'm going to highlight Drew Holiday. Drew Holiday had a solid game. I think his first game back from injury with 10 points, 4 rebounds, 3 assists, shot the ball 37% from the field and 33% from the 3-point line. Now, ladies and gentlemen, let's talk about Evan Fournier and Kemba Walker. I'm going to give my opinion first, and I'm going to hear what you guys have to say about it. Personally, I don't see a net positive in having Kemba Walker and Evan Fournier on the floor if they can't knock down shots. What are they there for? The whole purpose of bringing these guys in was so we could be able to score more points and spread the floor a little bit. But 5 points from Kemba Walker is not going to cut it for me. And 7 points from Evan Fournier is not going to cut it for me at all. I mean, Evan Fournier was missing shot after shot, wide open shots. And this is not only today. This has been the past few games as well. So personally, I don't see where the upgrade is over Reggie Bullock. I mean, I guess on paper you could say that there's an upgrade. But so far, Evan Fournier hasn't been playing up to his potential. He hasn't been playing up to the $18 and $19 million that he got per year in the offseason. And Kemba Walker's not playing up to that level as well that we need him to be if we want to take the next step. So I just leave it at that. And whoever wants to chime in, go ahead.
I would agree with you that Fournier is not playing well right now, but he's just missing shots. He's still getting shots. He's getting good looks. They're just not falling. And I think before the year is out, we'll be able to see that he is a better player than Bullock. I think defensively he's not playing well. I think there is some hope for his defense though. I think he can get better. Are we just doing one at a time, Fournier, or are we doing both?
You can do both, however you want to do it.
So I think he's going to be okay. You don't see it right now, Josh, but it's coming. You're going to see it, the upgrade. Kemba's another story for me. I think that, when Kemba's hitting his shots, then even if he's giving it up on the defense, he's scoring on offense, and you would think that it'll be a net positive. But if his shots aren't falling, his defense is so bad, in my opinion, that I think if his shot is not falling, I just think he's unplayable. I just think that at that time you just have to, like Tibbs did today, see what he's got, see how he's rolling in the game. I'm not saying take him out the starting lineup, but if his shot is not falling, like he did today, he went with Rose more, and then gave Quickly more time, gave Burke more time as well. I'm gonna leave it at that. I don't want to get into our ceiling and things like that. With Kemba, I thought it was a risk. I'm just going to be frank. I thought coming into the season it was a risk. When we started free agency, the Knicks had the money and the assets to go out and get a point guard that did not have any question marks. And they chose to go in another direction, and we're paying for it. Because if Kemba becomes unplayable, Rose is great. I'm not sure if he's going to be able to play at this level, 30 minutes a game, however many he got for the rest of the season. You understand what I'm saying? So it affects our ceiling in terms of how good we can be against this stacked Eastern Conference when you're down a man because he's only playing 15 minutes a game. Now, it may not get to that. His defense may pick up, his offense may pick up, and all of this is a moot point. But right now, it's not looking good because I don't see the improvement defensively. I don't see how he can improve defensively.
Okay, Tony.
I'm not gonna down either one of those guys. I think we haven't even played 10 games yet. I think it's too early to judge them off of that. Especially when we've came here and started the show like this is what we brought Fournier here for. You know what I mean? Like we've started the show first game of the season. You know what I mean? And he started the season well. Like he had a nice, good 4-game stretch, I think, to start the season. So I'm not worried about it now. I think like Queen said and like Tibbs did today. When they don't have it, we sit them. We're deep enough that we can do that. I do disagree as far as Kemba being unplayable.
If he's not hitting his shots.
No, I hear you, but I mean, we had a guy that was never hitting his shots,
and he played about the same minutes, 15.
Yeah, but that's what I mean. That that's like we did it last year with a lesser player. You know what I mean? So if I'll deal with him at his lesser state, knowing that he's gonna give us some great games. You know what I mean during the course of the year. We don't need it from him every night. So
But you basically agree with me. That's basically
yeah,
what I'm saying. When he's on, play him.
But I
when
mean,
he's not.
I wouldn't say unplayable. Like you know what I mean, like because we're gonna need him to spot minutes. You know what I mean? We're gonna need him so Rose isn't playing 38. You know what I mean? So that's what I mean. Like he's gonna need to get some minutes, but it's gonna be a fine line of when to pull him. When to ride Rose. But Rose is gonna need a rest. But yeah, I think for the most part I do agree. But it's early. You can't judge him off their defense now. We shouldn't really judge him. Give him at least another 5 games. You know what I mean?
Can I ask a question, Tone?
Okay. Yep.
Where do you see the improvement coming from? Like, I don't see the foot speed. I don't see the strength. Like, where do you see his improvement coming?
His individual improvement might not come. But the team's defense may improve. The schemes may improve. And I'm gonna always give him credit for what he does well, and he's one of the best at drawing charges. That's defense. So you know what I mean. Like, so he can do things, and I agree with you as far as Fournier. Like, I think, like he's scrappy, he's tough. He's not gonna be a liability defensively night in and night out. You know what I mean? Like, he has too much pride for that, if you will, and he's a taller guy, so size is never going to be the disadvantage for him most nights, especially at the two. So I mean, again, it's early. I think we good, and we'll be all right. We'll figure it out.
I just think as a team we'll be fine, but I think we still Kemba's a liability defensively. I mean, I just think he is. We got to do something schematically to try to hide that. And Evan Fournier, same with him. I mean, I really don't see, again, how that is a net positive from the guys that we had last season. At least not right now. These guys have not been playing up to expectations. Go ahead, Nate.
Yeah. So starting off with Fournier, I think he'll be okay. Like Queen was saying, he's a shooter and he's going through a slump, and he's getting his shots, so I'm not worried about that. For me, about Evan is more about the aggressiveness of getting to the cup, trying to draw
Right.
fouls, or the shot's not
Right.
falling. And we're going to talk about him, but RJ's doing that, and that's what Evan needs to be doing. He needs to step up to the plate, and when your best guy's out or hurt or not playing well, you need to step up. I mean, we brought you in to get us buckets, and if you're not getting buckets jump shot wise, you need to get to the cup, period, or get to the free throw line. That's the easiest way to get your shot falling. As far as Kemba, listen, Kemba looks like the Kemba from Boston, and I don't see the pop anymore. I don't see the jump. It's his knees. He's getting up there in age, and the reality is we're not going to see that Kemba anymore. This is the Kemba we're going to see. He's going to be more of a glorified three-point shooter that's going to come off screens and occasionally get you buckets inside. But that is the Kemba that we have. That's why he's only worth $8 million. Because if he had the game that he had before, he wouldn't be getting paid $8 million, and he wouldn't be on this team. He'd probably be on Boston still, because Boston they saw something in him when they traded for him. But
he got bought out, right?
I know he got bought out, but I'm just saying.
So $8 million is not included in what the buyout money was.
Right. I get what you're saying, but what I'm saying is he's not the money that he was before, and it's because of those knees. He doesn't have the pop anymore. He's a liability on defense. He looks slow. He's a small guy, and really all he's got going for him is he's got that ability to take that three-pointer off the screen and make the pop, the jump shot sometimes. But he is what he is. And so as Knicks fans, we just got to expect that there's going to be times where he's going to pop, and there's going to be times where he's going to look like a dud. Tonight, he looked like a dud. 5 points from a point guard. I'm sorry. I mean, I thought I was watching Alfred Payton again. I mean,
Nate with the low blows.
I'm being real. I mean, your starting point guard gets you 5 points. You're not going to win games a lot of times. Your starting point guard gets you 5 points. Find me
2 games ago, he was shooting 58% from three, right?
Yeah,
we were just celebrating the Kemba game like
sure.
3-4 games ago. Come on, man. It's 9 games in.
Right, but what did I just say? I said he's going to pop sometimes, and he's going to be a dud. He was a dud tonight. So maybe the next game he pops. But I'm just saying, don't expect consistency from this guy all season. He's going to be hit or miss. Now Evan's a different story. Evan will come out of his slump. I think Evan will get going and more of the flow. And now that RJ is coming along, Evan's going to follow along aside with him. So maybe we don't need Kemba as much, but if we get to the playoffs, I would hope that he's going to give us more consistency.
All right, before I go ahead, Queen. Go ahead.
The only thing I was saying, like they're talking about what is Atlanta doing? What does Golden State do to hide Steph Curry and Trey? We got 2. If Fournier was a very good defender, then it would just be Kemba, and maybe we can do a better job. But we got 2 players that's not playing good defense right now, and it makes it hard.
And that's why they're not playing. That's why Tibbs isn't playing them.
Totally agree with that, Queen. Before I get to Ron and his opinion on this, let me read the super chat from Brooklyn Butch. He says he would like to see Grimes start with Kemba, bring Fournier off the bench with the second unit to hide his defense and help Kemba more on defense. So while I do think this is an idea that the Knicks can revisit later on, I just don't want the Knicks to change anything up with the starting lineup right now. I think it's really important that the Knicks have consistency. Last season, I think we only changed the starting lineup 3 times the entire season. And that just was for continuity purposes. So I do understand what you're saying. But I just think it's way too early in the season to do a lineup change like that of that magnitude. Now, do I think Tibbs can do something different as far as schematically, play a little bit more zone, some boxing ones or what have you whenever we go up against, a juggernaut? Then, yeah, I think we can do that. But as far as lineup changes, I don't think I want to do anything like that right now. Ron, how do you feel about this whole situation?
Well, while you guys were talking, I took a quick look at both Fournier and Kemba's last 2 years. I kind of skimmed through things because I realized I don't know enough about either one of these guys, to be honest. I don't know if they're slow starters. I don't know if they're terribly inconsistent. I don't know, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know if they're second half players.
Right.
So I took a quick look at them, and what I saw, at least from these last 2 years for each of them, is I think Fournier is not comfortable with the Knicks right now. I think he started off, they allowed him to go out there and play ball, but then Julius slowly kind of took the reins back and got into his, the way he likes to play. And it seems like all these other guys are just deferring to Julius, and they don't necessarily feel comfortable in the way they were playing. Because if you just look at the games, the way Fournier's moving, the way he was shooting, the way his spots are on the court, it's not the same as it was earlier. He seems to be like, I think he ran into Julius tonight because they were trying to do their little two-man game. Like, it seems to be uncomfortable out there right now because he doesn't know where to be or what to do. He's not trying to upset, what Julius got going on. I'm not saying it's one of those like he doesn't feel comfortable because of Julius, because there's an issue. I think it's just he wants Julius to be as comfortable as possible so he can get his game going so the Knicks will be better. And I think he's just not comfortable right now. It seems to be that when I look at what he was doing the past 2 years, last year he spent time with Orlando and Boston, and he didn't look comfortable through both those spots. He was very inconsistent. So I think that's something we're going to have to deal with this year with the Knicks. And then with Kemba's just he's inconsistent. He's a really good shooter, but he's inconsistent. Like, I'm looking at all his games, and he has some stinkers in there, 4 for 20, 3 for 18. Like, he's had some bad games last year. Like, he's inconsistent. But one thing I will say that I think we're hurting Kemba. He's not able to get a true rhythm in 15 minutes of play. Like, all those games last year, he was averaging at least 30 minutes. Now, maybe that's a little too much for him right now because of his knees, but I don't think 15 minutes is going to help him develop a rhythm. And I think because of that, he's going to have a lot of poor shooting nights for us, way more than we would expect. So I think Tibbs needs to find a way to kind of get this guy out there and play him between 20 and 25 minutes so he can get some type of rhythm. Or else, you like you said, it's a negative for us, and we're never going to see a positive from it because we know he's not going to do anything on the defensive end.
But this is the thing.
But I still like both of them. I just think that we've got to play to their strengths and play to what allows them to be comfortable, or else we're not going to be able to use them adequately.
Go ahead, Queen.
Yeah, I mean, I said that in a few, I don't know when. At some point, I did say that we know Kemba's defense isn't good. We just have to commit to giving him a certain amount of minutes every game, and just live with it because what he gives us on the offensive end is going to be better than what he's given up defensively. But that hasn't been the case, at least today. And so, I think that on the days when his shot isn't falling, I think that's why he got 15 minutes. He wasn't playing good defense, and so Tibbs had to make that, and we were getting blown out. And it wasn't just on him. A lot of players weren't playing good defense. But when Rose came in and got the team going, I think it might have been more of what Rose was doing more so than what Kemba wasn't doing. Once Rose came in and got the team going, we started to gel a little bit. We started to, cut into that lead. Tibbs just decided, let's just go with the hot hand. Let's just go with what's working.
So I have a
Right.
question.
Oh, sorry, Nate. I just want to say real quick, I'm not using tonight's not the barometer. Tonight he needed to yank Kemba because we were losing and Rose got hot. Like, you got to play basketball the right way and get your guy out there. But we've noticed that Kemba's minutes have been slowly declining. Tibbs has been yanking him. So that's all I mean.
Yeah.
But go ahead, Nate.
Go ahead, Nate.
I got a question. So watching Derrick Rose play and watching Kemba play, from past and present, is it to me, or does it seem like Rose just looks more fluid as a point guard than Kemba does. Even when Kemba was in his prime, Kemba never looked like a floor general, in my opinion. Never looked like he was orchestrating the offense. It was more of like, hey, can I get my shot? If I can get the pass, I'll get the pass. To where when I watch Derrick Rose play, even when the Chicago days, he just flowed. The offense just flowed more nicely, and I think that Tibbs sees that. Tibbs sees, because he's seen Derrick Rose for such a long time, and he knows that when Derrick Rose comes in the game, he knows what to do. He knows how to get the flow of the offense going. He knows how to set up everybody and stuff like that. I just don't think Kimba's ever been that type of player, and it's no fault to him. That Kimba, they're two different guards, you know. But I don't know. I just was curious about that. Do y'all kind of see that, or is it just
Go
more
ahead.
like his Nick play?
Go ahead, Ron.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's fairly evident. Rose is just a much better. He's like a maestro out there, man. Rose is just he knows how to get around the basketball court. He's just, that's his thing. Like, he's very comfortable out there, and I think this is the reason why we didn't go after Kemba years ago. It was, one, how much of a facilitator is he? Because that's what we needed, and two, his height. Those were the disadvantages. Not even to mention him being poor on the defensive end. I think he might have been better on the defensive end then because he could move quicker. But it's just his height and the fact that he's not like really a true facilitator. At that point, the Knicks didn't see him as the type of guy to bring in. Now we brought him in, but we brought him in at a discount because of his scoring prowess. It's not because of the fact that he's such a great facilitator. We definitely know his defensive downfall. So yeah, I think what you pointed out is fairly evident that Rose is just much more fluid player out there on the court.
Okay. All right. So, we all have our different takes about it. I do agree with Tony. I still do think it's very, very early. I do want to commend Brooklyn Bush for sending a super chat. Thank you so much for that. And I do want to respond to someone in the chat in regards to what they said about consistency. So they're addressing, based on what I said about, it being too early and the Knicks having consistency and camaraderie with the starting lineups. Sincere to Genius, thanks a lot. He says, so it's okay to have bad defense just for the sake of consistency? My only retort to that is, listen, Tom Thibodeau can't just throw in rookies this early in the season. You can't just look at what's happening on the floor. You also have to look at, Tibbs being in that locker room. As a former coach myself, I know that if you lose the veterans and you lose your guys who've been there or been around for a long time, you lose the entire locker room. So there has to be a little bit of a balance. You don't want to just like abandon everything that you worked for in training camp and the preseason, and then 8 games into the season, get a guy out of there and completely don't play him and put in some rookies. I think there has to be, slowly but surely, there has to be ways that you implement those guys in there, take away some minutes here and there, but to completely yank, Evan Fournier out the starting lineup and put in Quentin Grimes, a rookie, off the end of the bench into the starting lineup. I just think that it's very, very premature. And as a coach, you risk losing your locker room if you do something like that. Maybe later in the season, maybe if Quentin Grimes gets some time and start to light it up, maybe we can, start seeing Quentin Grimes get some more minutes, but not 8 games into the season. You can't just take Evan Fournier out, especially after they just paid him that money, right? You got to be very, very strategic in how you do that. Right. And then AK Sauergard, Coach Fulio. Yeah, I used to coach football. And I'm not just saying this because I'm assuming, what's happening, but I used to coach football and I had seniors, right? And in high school, I had seniors, and what the coaches that were above me did was they decided to not play the seniors. And then last year in high school, to play some freshmen because the seniors wasn't doing that well. And we lost the locker room, right? And that happens all the time in the NBA and in sports. You can't just abandon your veterans that early in the season. So
also to throw a point out too, Josh, it's all about practice too. And Tibbs made it very clear that he plays the best people that play well in practice. And even if these guys are struggling in the real games, they might still be playing well in practice and outplaying these young guys. And so that, as long as that stays consistent, these players are going to continue to get the minutes. I mean, because Tibbs is all about what he sees in practice. It's going to translate to the court. Then he's going to take those chances. Unless somebody really pops that's young, that like a Grimes or a McBride or somebody really pops in practice, they're not going to see the floor. ever, unless it's a blowout. So, I mean, I don't see that happening with this team because we do have a lot of vets, and these vets are good. They're still good, and the young players are not overseeding the vets yet.
Got you. So, all right. So, listen, today was a really good victory for us. I know we were talking about, Evan Fournier and Kemba Walker a little bit. But let's move on to Sunday. Sunday, we have another tough game coming up against the Cleveland Cavaliers at 6 p.m. The Knicks are back at the Garden, taking on the Cleveland Cavaliers. The Cavs won today, by the way. Squeaked out a win against the Toronto Raptors. I think it was 102 to 101 was the final score in that one. Yeah, Cleveland beat Toronto on the road in a tough game with that. So let me just go around the horn a little bit. I'll start with you, Queen. What are your thoughts about this game coming up against Cleveland, and how do you think the Knicks will do?
I think that, the Knicks will win. The Knicks can win, but make no doubt about it, Cleveland is a tough team. That's not a team where you're just going to walk in and show up and win. Marketing is out because they had a tall lineup with him, Jared Allen, and Mobley. So maybe it's a little they're a little shorter now, but they got those two speedy guards in Claxton and Garland. So again, Kemba and Fournier is going to have to be, going to have to defend and be able to get their shot off against pretty good defenders as well. So that's always a matchup to watch, our guards against their guards. Mitch and Jared Allen. Jared Allen is playing very, very well, and Mitch is still trying to round into shape. If Mitch is not, on the top of his game, now we're talking about second shots, but at least we have Noel now. And Randle going against Mobley. I mean, he has the strength, no doubt about it, but Mobley has the length, he's a rookie, so I do expect Randle to get the best of that matchup. Knicks win, but we got to be on hippie top of our game, and that includes Tibbs as well.
All right. Tone, what you think?
Queen nailed it. You know what I mean? Like it's gonna be a tough game. They're up and coming. They playing like they got nothing to lose. Basically, there's no expectation. Kind of like us last year.
Right.
So those type of teams are always dangerous. I can only say hopefully we've reached a point where we're knowing every team is dangerous and we can't take nobody lightly. Coming off a big win, you don't want to bring back that feeling of the losing streak or any of that. So let's try to keep that get that win streak going again.
All right, Ron, what you got?
Yeah, man, I agree. I think that this is not a game to take lightly. The East is a beast. So now that we know that, it's for certain every team the Knicks play in the East, or actually any team in general, but these East teams you got to watch out for. Every one of them is a problem, and that goes all the way down to like Detroit and Orlando, as we've seen. So yeah, man, I'm concerned about Cleveland. I worry about the fact that they got a lot of youth. They got that length on their side. That's a problem. They got length on their side at all the positions, and I'm not too happy about the Evan Mobley Mitchell Robinson matchup. If that's the case, it may not be him. It could be Laurie Marketing or whatever. But it could be Jared Allen. Sorry, Jared Allen.
Yeah,
that's a problem
Marketing is out due to COVID. The C word.
Right. Okay. So
I will say this: Mitch always seemed to get up for Allen. They've had some good games against each other. Some nice back and forth dating way back to Brooklyn. So I'm hoping he comes in inspired and saying this guy got the kind of contract I want. You know what I mean, and things of that nature.
Yeah, Mitch got a lot of time to still kind of get back to what we're used to seeing from him. Will he ever get back to what we saw last year before he put on the weight? I don't know. I think his game is going to be a little bit different, but he should still be very explosive. I think he needs more time. You guys maybe nailed it. Maybe he's just not ready yet, and that could be a little bit of a problem against this Jared Allen, because this Jared Allen is balling, and Evan Mobley is balling. So it's going to be another tough task. but I think the Knicks can win this one too. I mean, after what they showed me tonight with a Milwaukee team and having Portis and Drew Holiday back, I respect the victory a lot more because I feel like, every team's got injuries, right? But, this they were a pretty solid team tonight. And those guys out there, Grayson Allen, they could play ball. So, we took that game from them. It was their game and we took it. So I think they could do the same against Cleveland. So I feel good about it.
All right, Nate. Nate, you gotta unmute yourself.
You're on mute. I think you're on mute.
All right. Sorry.
There you go.
All right. This Cavs team is scary. They're scary young. They got a lot of athleticism, a lot of size. They're going to really be hounding us on the boards. One move that I really like that they made that nobody's talked about is Ricky Rubio, bring in a solid veteran guard and flow simply, put Sexton at the 2 guard, let him go off ball. So our guards are going to have to be on their P's and Q's when they're playing defense against these 2 dudes because they'll rip us apart if we're not playing well. So hopefully we can get a win, man. Apparently we suck at home and we win on the road, so we need to change that. Well, we can win both, but at least you gotta defend your home court. Period.
Got you. No question about that. And the game against Cleveland is going to be our 10th game of the season. So I'm sure once that game is complete, here on MBK, we're going to do the first 10 game recap. And then we'll probably have something where we look ahead to the next 10 games or whatever the case may be. But after that Cleveland game, the Knicks are going up against some opponents here. All right. That, not a lot of opponents that we can sleep on. We got Philly on Monday, the day right after we play Cleveland. Milwaukee again on Wednesday at the Garden. And then we come on the road. The Knicks come down here to Charlotte. I'll be at the game on November 12th against Charlotte. Then against the Pacers on Monday. We'll have 2 days off in between that. The Magic on Wednesday at the Garden, Wednesday the 17th. The Rockets at the Garden on November 20th. Knicks visit Chicago again, November 21st. Then the Lakers, the big old Lakers, come to town. That's Thanksgiving week. The Lakers go to Madison Square Garden on November 23rd. And then we finish off the next 10 games with the Suns at Madison Square Garden. And then the Knicks come back down here to Atlanta. I might be going to that game as well to finish out the next 10 games of that. Any thoughts about those next 10 games following the game against Cleveland? Anybody want to comment on how, those games and those opponents? I'll start with you, Ron. Go ahead.
I mean, that's a nice little stretch of some tough competition there. I think that we only get maybe possibly the breather with Houston and Orlando, and that's not even saying much. So, every game matters now. Every game is tough, and we can lose if we don't play good. So I like the fact that the Knicks. I mean, they already learned it. They got slapped in the face. They can't take any nights off. So I hope this kind of breaks us out of the little malaise we've been in and gets us back to playing that good, consistent basketball and knowing that they got to bring it every night. And maybe tonight's game is something that gets Julius on a roll. Because if Julius gets on a roll when he gets those tears, we usually win a lot of games when he's going right. So, and then I like the fact that RJ didn't have a good game tonight and still finished with 20 points and 7 rebounds.
Right.
RJ's stepping up, man. I think I'm right that he's there. So I hope that keeps going. But I like the fact that he's just balling out that he's comfortable. And if we get all we need, as we saw this evening, we need RJ, we need Randle, and we need somebody from the bench. In this case, it was Rose. So if we get that on, for most of these nights, and if not, Rose or whatever, if it's another cast of characters, then I think we should be okay. But we need at least 3 scorers to give us 20 points for us to have a chance to be in these games.
That was us. That was last year's team. That those 3 guys did it most nights. Every now and again, Burks would do it for us, closing, and you seen that was our closing lineup. You seen Burks getting some closing minutes, something he was used to from last year. You seen Rose do it, which he was used to last year. So and that's another thing. Sim always says it's not about who starts, it's about who finishes.
Right.
You know, let's not change nothing. As far as these next 10 games, I love it. I think the Knicks tend to get up for the competition. They tend to try to prove something against the bigger name teams. So I think it's kind of like perfect timing. But we gotta get through Cleveland first. Like, make sure
Right.
we get that one, and then go in there with some motivation
Right.
on a 2-game streak, and try to keep it going.
Nate.
Yeah, I mean, just looking at that schedule, we're going to learn a lot about our defense and we're going to learn a lot about our offense because if you want to put the Knicks in high contention for a chip or even the Eastern Conference Finals, it's going to start with these teams. And you're going to really see how good this offense is against better competition on defense and on offense. And then defensively, you're going to go against some really good players. So the Knicks just better be up for it. I mean, I agree with Tony. They do get up for these games. I don't know why they sneeze on the lower competition, but they get up for these games. So if that's the case, then we should be in good shape.
Gotcha. No question about that. I'm going to start off with Queen, but it's going to be final words, right? So final words. Anything, last things you guys have to say? I'll start with the Queen. Ladies first.
Yeah, I mean, what I will say about the 10 game, the next 10 games after Cleveland, I agree with Nate. That's going to be a good barometer. That'll be 20 games. We'll know a lot more about this team. We'll know a lot more about Kemba. We'll know a lot more about Fournier as well as our offense and defense. I'm actually really looking forward to that 10 game stretch. Listen, we're 6-3. Not playing our best basketball, not really being a great defensive team with 6-3. I'll take that any day.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm hoping that this game unlocked the team. We talk about, a player having a good game and maybe that'll help them, get off the snide and play well going forward. I hope this win does that for us defensively. The only issue is just personnel. Like, is Tibbs going to go to a more defensive minded team? Has he found the blueprint as well? And we'll find that out over the next few games as well.
All right. Nate, any final words?
Well, you guys know how I love those hot takes, so I'm gonna throw one out there just for the chat base. We talk about how Randall is our guy right now, and we talk about like how we look at him as the dude on this team, and that one day RJ is gonna step into that role of what Randall is. Guys, I think it's happening. I really do. What I've seen from RJ, I've seen the leadership off and on the court. I've seen his offensive really pick up, his drive, his defense. This guy is starting to pop, and that's a blessing for Knicks fans because God knows how many picks we've missed on early in the top rounds, and to see this guy really starting to pop, and knowing what Julius can bring to the table, it's going to be a fun thing to see.
Yep.
All right. Ron?
Yeah, I mean, you stole my thunder, Nate. I'm just happy to watch. I'm happy to watch RJ go out there and do his thing, man. I'm so excited. Like it's been a long time coming to watch one of our young guys, really get it together. I wish Knox was out there with him doing something, but we can't get everything we want, right? But yeah, I just want RJ to continue to get better. I want Tibbs and the rest of the team to understand that he is getting better, and now he's becoming a big part of this team. We don't win this game tonight if it's not for RJ. Like, he's a big part of it too. So yeah, I just want to continue to see that. I just want to give a quick shout out to my brother at arms, John from Still Knicks Fans. Happy birthday, bro! I think you the reason why we got the win, baby. You helped. You helped. So yeah, big win. And quick reminder once again. I'm like the plug right now. Once again, I'm just going to throw it out there. Next week, Thursday, 8 p.m., new show on the MBK network. It's myself and my co-host, John, from Still Knicks Fans. It's going to be called the NBA Report. We're going to be doing an Eastern Conference breakdown of the teams and how it relates to the Knicks. So it's a new perspective, and hopefully, you guys get to learn a little bit more about the rest of the Eastern Conference, because I know I've only been watching the Knicks, so it's going to help me as well. So definitely tune in next Thursday, 8 p.m.
No doubt, no doubt. You guys definitely check that out, and salute to John. Happy birthday. Still Knicks fans.
Happy birthday, John.
And Tony, close us out. Close us out.
Yeah, happy birthday, John. Man, let's get this win next game. 7-3 sounds. I don't even know the last time I said 7, or if I've ever said 7-3. To start the season. That sounds so good. So I don't want to jinx it, but let's keep this motivation and keep it going. Shout out to the chat. Shout out to the panel. Your blackest time.
Shout out to Sim.
Yeah.
Enjoying the
have a margarita.
Yeah, enjoying the vacation.
It's 5 o'clock somewhere.
I don't think they drink margaritas in Jamaica, Nate. But there you have it, ladies and gentlemen.
One punch.
Yeah, it's the rum punch. There you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Thanks for tuning in with us to watch this post-game breakdown. Knicks obviously win 113-98, snapping a 2-game losing streak. Cleveland on Sunday at 6 p.m. at Madison Square Garden. The Knicks return home to face another tough team. So let's see if we can be able to make it 2 in a row, ladies and gentlemen. With that being said, I am out, ladies and gentlemen. We'll see you guys on Sunday. Peace.
This is NBK. Nothing but Knicks. When Sim passed the assist, you know that it's #1 show that breaks down the game. If you can't play defense, stay out my way. Dribble the ball, come down the lane. 5 seconds on the shot clock. Who gon' win us the game? You wanna hear Nick updates and trade rumors? Post-game reviews, this the place to tune in. So tell a friend just to keep the ball moving. Like the page if you feeling the movement. Every game we coming to win. Give us a sub like a player that came off the bench.